Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. So my name is Gary Z. Thank you for the introduction, Angel. I'm going to be here today to share with you two real-life proof of concepts that we've done for our customers. The first one that I'll cover is going to be around cloud, what we are doing and how we're servicing our customers via cloud. And the second topic is going to be around big data, how we're helping our customers process unstructured data. Goes very nicely with the two panel sessions that went on this morning. Before I begin, I wanted to share a little bit of information in terms of how we're set up, how we're actually helping our customers. We have innovation labs all throughout the world, and as of today, we have 7. We opened up our first one in Asia last year, and that's based in Singapore. So if you ever have the opportunity to travel to Singapore, please reach out to Thomson Reuters. More than happy to give you a tour of the lab and actually speak to you about some of the challenges that you may have, and then potentially kind of work together to see if we can get to your goal. Now, as you can see, the data scientists that we've employed, I think we heard earlier that there's a shortage of data scientists, so I wonder if we actually employed most of them. But we have 150 data scientists, researchers, and developers, designers, so we're actually growing pretty rapidly. Now, late last year, we had our technology forum, and in attendance were all the CTOs, technology professionals, and we threw this word cloud up there. We asked them, what are the drivers for having a cloud strategy? And there's no surprise, right? You see innovation, cost, agility. We've heard this all day long. So I'm going to put some context behind what was actually covered during that event. The challenges that we heard from most of the CTOs are pretty constant. They were very similar. The top 3 were cost. How do I drive down cost? The second most popular is how do I shift from a CapEx model to an OpEx model? And then lastly, it's time to market. How do I speed that up? And I recall on one of the panels, there was a disconnect between what the business wants and how IT delivers. So hopefully with a cloud solution, we can kind of speed that time to market up. Businesses want things done yesterday, and IT needs to follow process in order to actually deliver that output. Now, in that conference, we actually said or stated in 2017, we estimate that the actual monies paid to cloud providers increased by 25 to 35%. And if we translate that into dollars, that's roughly 3.5 to 4.5 billion US dollars. That sounds a lot. I think we're heading in the right direction, but to put it into more context, the global market data spend is about 27 billion. So there is a gap, but we're moving very, very quickly if we keep on growing 25, 35% year on year. Now, our strategy is quite simple. There's really 3 strategies that we're following. The first one is build on the cloud. And what does that mean? That means Thomson Reuters needs to build our platforms, offer our services on the cloud. We're currently partnering with a lot of the cloud providers that you've heard from today: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Alibaba. The second thing is deliver in the cloud. And this is probably the most simple one that we have. What this means is we need to follow our customers wherever they go. Just because we only are partnering with 4 cloud providers right now doesn't mean we will not entertain a 5th, a 6th. It really depends where our customers go. And lastly, we need to offer our services as a cloud. You hear terms like lightweight, analytics. Everybody is looking for lightweight analytics. They're looking for ready-to-consume content to plug into algo engines, to plug into applications. And that's what the beauty of a cloud can do. So I'll speak to you a little bit about what we did in terms of helping a customer. It's a global customer. In particular, it was for their FX trading desk. So they had a correlation model, a global correlation model that required massive, massive amounts of historical data. It also required a lot of real-time streaming information, streaming pricing information. Now, the old way of doing things, the traditional way of doing things, are these banks would probably need to obtain the data, they need to store it, they need to calculate it, and then they need to deliver it. For those IT guys here, apologies. I really kind of oversimplified it, but just for the purpose of this demo, let's just say those are the main criteria. Now, when the bank came to us, they said, how can you help us make this become a little bit more lightweight? How can you make this easier for us? We're moving our services to this cloud. Can you offer us something in there? At that time, we weren't able to. We didn't have anything there. But we put our heads together at Thomson Reuters. We worked with the partners at these cloud providers, and it was possible. What we basically did was we built on the platform. We shifted all of our content to the cloud. And in doing so, we were able to eliminate 3 out of that 4-step process. So all that we did was we calculated everything for them. We stored everything. Well, no need to store, but we calculated everything and just delivered a consumable analytic directly into an application and bypassing all of the traditional ways of doing that. The great thing is the majority of our content is now available on the cloud. So if you have any needs or demands or questions, please come to Thomson Reuters. We'll be more than happy to help you. Let's get into big data. I think this is a pretty exciting one. The content that you see over here, this is Thomson Reuters content. Let's pause for a minute. Let's just take a look. 57,000 pump-link companies, 250,000 company events. It's a lot of data. It's a massive amount of data. Our customers always ask us, which one of your other clients are actually using your big data technologies? And we, of course, will share those clients that actually allow us to. But the biggest consumer of our technology is Thomson Reuters. There's no way we can manage this amount of data without having an all-star type of platform to manage big data. Now, the proof of concept that I'm going to go into next is it's going to be a demo. We can actually show you something. And I'm going to give you a little background behind what this demo consists of. We're helping a client. We selected 600 documents. 600 documents consist of emails and consists of research snippets. The emails are both inbound and outbound. Now, just keep in mind, for this demo, that's all we put into this demo. However, you can take other unstructured data such as telephone transcripts, research reports, Thomson Reuters data, third-party data. You could take all of that unstructured data and run it through this technology. So let's see. So we ran 600 documents through our technology called intelligent tagging, and these are the results. So let's quickly look. So let's say company. So what that means is we were able to tag and match accurately over 4,000 companies that were mentioned in those 600 documents. We can tag people. You and I, we're all being tagged. We could tag things like company location, which comes in handy when you're trying to assess which markets to go into, where you're exposed, et cetera. The possibilities are limitless. And if we heard earlier today, the concept or the strategy around big data is you need to understand what your end goal is going to be before you take the steps to actually approach and get to that end goal. So let me show you some step-by-step in terms of how we're going to get there. So if we can go to the Entities tab. Okay, so let's see everything. Let's see 4,000 companies. Each orange dot represents a company. Now, as this is calculating, this doesn't really tell me much. It just is a pretty picture with a lot of companies mentioned, probably 4,000 companies, right? You can zoom in if you want, but it probably won't help you at this moment. But let's change the relevance score. Now, before you change the relevance score, I'm going to explain what this means. So our NLP, our natural language processor, is actually going to score and assign a relevance score between 0 to 1. And the easiest way for me to explain this is, let's say I had a research report on Apple. And somewhere in that research report, a healthcare company was mentioned. In that context, the healthcare company probably isn't very relevant, which will probably get closer to the 0 score. But let's say Samsung was mentioned. That relevance score will actually move over to the right side and be closer to 1. So based on that definition of relevance, let's narrow it down and see what we have. We have the relevance score narrowed. Now, if you hover over any one of these bubbles, you can go into that's Morgan Stanley that was mentioned. But if we zoom in even further, okay, I don't know if you noticed, but Jefferson actually clicked on a snippet, and on the bottom, it's the actual content, the source document. You can actually download it if you want to, but this is just a way, step by step, on how you can actually go from big data to a little bit more narrow content. Now, I think earlier today, people are saying, okay, big data is big data, cleaning it up, yes, it's a task. It's one of the steps to actually get to insight, right? That's what we're all here, right? We're all here to try to figure out what insight actually can be derived from something like this. So why don't we go to the next tab, the Aboutness tab? And what you're looking at here is basically a topic code of business and finance. Now, it's no surprise that there's a lot of business and finance related topics. I really sure hope so, because these emails and these research snippets came from a bank, right? So I would be pretty surprised if you saw a lot of like personal or baseball stats or whatever you want to call it. But these are all topical for business and finance. But one of the most hottest topics right now is probably MiFID II. You guys have heard of that, right? All right, now, the topic that I'm going to cover is unbundling of research. Now, for those who aren't really aware of what that means, I'll sum it up in 2 sentences. Sell side need to evaluate the amount of research that they're providing to their customers in terms of dollar amount, what it's worth. Buy side now need to start paying for these research reports, right? So why don't we select the topic code research from the upper left? So from all of these documents, how can we get to a more concise answer? It might be a little further up. And I apologize, I forgot to introduce Jefferson. He is what I call the big data DJ on the right. Okay, we got there. So out of 600 documents, let's say, what did we say? Maybe that's 30 or 40? 40, 30 documents relating to research. Now, you can zoom in. Let's click on an email. Let's have a look. There you go. So market commentary, it's research. Okay, let's scroll back up. Now, there's 2 people at a bank that are looking at this as thinking about, that this is insight. You have one person at the bank saying, oh my goodness, am I exposed? Am I not taking into account all of this high-touch research that I'm providing to my buy side? Telephone calls, right? Emails, all this high-touch stuff. Am I exposed here? On the other side, you might have a revenue generator that's saying, okay, I don't think I'm charging my buy-side clients enough. Look at all these emails that my teams are sending. Look at all these research reports and transcripts, all these phone calls that my teams are making. I think there's a business opportunity over there. So in the shortest of time, these are the only 2 examples that we can showcase to you today. But I wanted to share these with you so at least you guys can conceptualize what Thomson Reuters can do and are doing for our customers. Jefferson, myself, the whole Thomson Reuters team will still be in the back. We will have this on display. You can actually play with it yourself. You can actually select different topics, and we can discuss if any of these big data challenges are something that you're faced with. Please do speak to us, and we'll brainstorm it together on how to fix it. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the next panel.